All right, here we go. Salute to Knicks Nation, man, and welcome to the first edition of Fan Fridays, the show where our loyal franchise channel members get to be the producers of the show. They drop their questions, we give you our answers. CP the Franchise, Alex Trataros here. All right, Al, here we go. First question. This one is from Yao Music 2609. His question is, I was done with RJ until his stellar playoff performance last season. Big fan of the kid, but he can't continue to have starts to the season as rough as last year's. We're going into year 5. What is a fair amount of rope we are giving RJ before his time is up? What's your thoughts, man?
Consistency, man. That's what I'm looking for from RJ. Shout out to my guy Yao for dropping this question, but it's consistency, okay? We need RJ to be consistent throughout the regular season. Sure, the playoff performance was great. I'd like to see him do that over the course of an 82-game season. CP, let me tell you this. He dropped for out of 16 games through the month of November, 10 of those games, RJ shot less than 39%. We can't have that, man. 39% or less. That's how bad he was shooting in the month of November. We need more consistency out of him in order for this team to take another step forward.
Yeah, I think, look, for right now, I mean, as a third option, offensively, I think he's okay. I mean, he still averaged 19 points per game. We are looking for consistency from RJ. You're also looking for better defense because if he's going to play the 3, if he's going to play the wing, he is crucial to the team's success, especially on the defensive end. He has to hold it down there. Now, in the playoffs, you saw a much better performance, but in the first half of the year, it was dreadful, his defense. And so he's got to be much stronger and much more consistent on the defensive end as well. But also offensively, you want to see the improvements from RJ at the rim and in the mid-range, man. His rim numbers are once again have not been good, man. His rim numbers, 59% at the rim. That's good for the 24th percentile in the league. An effective field goal percentage of 48.7. That's in the 18th percentile. And the mid-range, 38%. That's in the 35th percentile. You know, a lot of people like to compare RJ or want to see him develop a game a la Jimmy Butler or DeMar DeRozan. But the difference is that those guys are prolific in those areas at the rim and in the mid-range. And that's where RJ really has to hone in his skills. Can he get there? He certainly has a work ethic to do so. Will he get there next year? Time will tell. It's hard to tell what time RJ is going to wake up and put it all together, man. But one thing you were encouraged by is that in the playoffs, as we said on this show, man, he was the second best player for us in the playoffs.
Absolutely. You know, you want to see him do better. You want all those talks, all those statistics that you pointed out. Yes, finishing around the rim, mid-range. Those are areas that you want to see RJ take that next step. And you mentioned defensively. But in order to get that, man, we also got to talk about the effective field goal percentage, as you noted, right? I mean, he has not crossed over the 50% percentage yet. 44.5 his rookie season, 49.9% sophomore year where he was shooting lights out from 3, where he shot close to 40%. 46.6 last 2 seasons ago with Julius's down year. And then last season, 48.5. I think what's really going to help him is not only finishing around the rim, but you saw that he got close with knocking down those threes. He shot 40% in that sophomore season. Can he shoot 40% again? Probably not, but he has to be league average. He shot close to he shot under 32% this season. Okay. In order for him to have an impact on this team, to get more minutes, in order to get those numbers up, he's going to have to shoot from the 3 much better than he has in his previous seasons. Shout out to Dr. DeRoy Barnwell. He asked this question. Really love what you guys are doing and appreciate the level of excellence in producing the great content for us to have Knicks talk all year round. People seem to be concerned if Grimes will be losing his starting role to Donte DiVincenzo. Both guys' games are so similar. As it is right now, who should start at shooting guard if the season starts today?
I think Grimes is going to go in as the incumbent for sure. You know, he earned it. He's drawn the toughest assignments. He was one of the league's best perimeter defenders, statistically and by the eye test. Grimes is definitely going to go into this thing as the starter. What you want to see from Grimes is him obviously improve his three-point accuracy and also get more opportunities to shoot the 3, because the Knicks will need him along with Jalen Brunson and IQ and DiVincenzo to knock down threes. But so Grimes is going to be very important. I think he starts off as the starter. But what we saw last year in terms of closing minutes, we could see again this coming season where his closing minutes are not necessarily guaranteed. It could be RJ. It could be IQ. It could be DiVincenzo. It could be Hart. So I think depending on how the flow of each game goes, your closers at the 2 and at the 3 will change. So I have Grimes starting, but I wouldn't be surprised if DiVincenzo gets opportunities to close depending on how the flow of the game goes.
I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly. I think Grimes is going to start. I think he's earned that position as well. I mean, just in his limited amount of touch, just in his limited, I should say limited, but in his second year, he's already achieved what you want out of him. He's a 3-and-D player, base minimum. I think he's got more in his game. I think he just needs to be unleashed. That's with teammates like Brunson, Julius, RJ, finding him and making sure that he's engaged in the offense. And CP, for the numbers that we have for him right now, for how little he was involved in the offense for parts of the season, I look at true shooting percentage to get a gauge of how well a player can be once they include like getting to the free throw line and stuff of that nature. He jumped from his rookie season from 56.5% to 61.9%. And CP, as we know, he only got to the line very seldomly. I think he averaged just slightly over 1 attempt this season. Yeah, 1.4 this season. So if you give this guy more touches, if he's able to get to the rim even better and draw the contact, to have such high efficiency while shooting, I think Grimes could easily and should be still in that starting rotation. But to your point, is he going to close? I think he needs to get those opportunities to close. We saw from Josh Hart, Donte, we know what Donte DiVincenzo can do, but in order for him to really be part of this team moving forward and be considered like, whether it be a foundational piece or if as we hear that Tibbs values him so much, you got to give him those opportunities. You talked about how he is guarding the best player. We saw what he did against Jimmy Butler. He had one of the top plays that you want to see defensively from a young guy, not shy away in the big moment. You got to give him those reps. So hopefully Tibbs understands to give him more reps in the closing minutes of the games.
We're going to take a quick break from this Fan Fridays episode to tell you about today's sponsor, and that is Caldera Lab. Fellas, Caldera Lab is #1 in men's premium skincare. Make sure you make a great first impression, whether it's back to school, on the job, or out there with the ladies. Your skin is the first thing that everybody sees, so make sure that you take care of your face. Make sure that you take care of it with Caldera Lab premium skincare. From the face wash to the moisturizer to the eye serum, they have everything for you guys, man. Premium men's skincare. And go to calderalab.com. Use promo code KFTV for 20% off your order. All right, Al, this last question is from JC Squared 1111. And their question is, why is this fan base obsessed with trading for a star player? This team was a much different team once Hart was here. Think we were 10 or 12 games over 500, had a hobbled Randall, and still were close to making the Eastern Conference Finals. We have our superstar in Jalen Brunson, an all-NBA player in Julius Randle, and a player just entering his prime at 23 in RJ, who makes an incredible third option. Yet so many want to gut the team for all these old, washed-up dudes. Make it make sense. What's your take on that, man?
I get it. We're so used to New York where we've had teams just homegrown talent. We don't go out and trade for anybody. It's our guys against the world. I totally understand that. Look, I'm a Yankees fan too. I remember the core four. But look, today when you look at the game, man, and especially for the NBA and how it's changed, you need a top 10 player in order to compete in this league to even have a chance to get to the NBA Finals. Let's just go through some of the previous teams that have won the NBA championship. We could talk about the Nuggets. They got Nikola Jokic. Golden State Warriors, for how many times they've won. Steph Curry, or even if not just Steph Curry, they've had KD for the times that they've won too, right? Bucks have Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Lakers, LeBron James, Anthony Davis. We could talk about the Spurs with Tim Duncan, and sure, he had a great supporting cast with Manu Ginobili, Tony Parker, and Kawhi Leonard. We can go back to the Heatles too. We can even talk about the Cavs with LBJ and Kyrie Irving. But if that list hasn't said anything, you need a top 10 player, and that's what Joel Embiid is. Forget about all the stuff that we've seen in the playoffs. It's been him. Sure, I get it. He hasn't had that much great success, but let's look at this team and how it's been built. Ben Simmons, afraid to shoot. James Harden, guy just disappears in the playoffs consistently, and look at him now. He just wants out of Philly, doesn't want to go through the challenge anymore. So with that, give Embiid somebody who has been extremely consistent in Jalen Brunson. Give him that, and let's see what happens. Because Embiid, man, for the last couple of years, top 5 player in this league, considered to all NBA votes, has been an MVP candidate, obviously this season, but has been in the running the last few seasons as well.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think this Knicks team, as it is, I believe their ceiling is currently in the second round. Now, that could change because the East could be fluid. We don't know what's going to go on in Boston. Philadelphia seems to be on fire. How does Miami look going into this thing? With those 3 teams, Milwaukee, if they're healthy, should be up there at the top. They're going to be top 3. But depending on what happens with Boston, Miami, and Philadelphia, the Knicks could get to 3. They could be 4, 5. I think that is my range for them. They're going to be competitive. They're going to be a good team if everybody stays healthy. But winning a championship is a whole nother level than where the Knicks are right now. It's very difficult. It's extremely difficult to win a championship in the NBA. You have to be elite in many facets of the game. You need elite players. You either need an elite offense or elite defense. Your identity has to be there. With the Denver Nuggets, it was Nikola Jokic. It was Jamal Murray ascending to a bona fide superstar. It was Aaron Gordon's versatility defensively, Bruce Brown's versatility defensively, getting contributions from rookies like Christian Brown. So your depth is certainly important. So it's not to say gut the whole team and just for any star, but there's going to have to come a point in time where the Knicks have to figure that they are capped with what they have. They have a solid team, but solid isn't good enough to win a championship. Winning a championship is a completely different level and a completely different caliber, and it starts with those players. And so Brunson is certainly there. Maybe Julius takes another step next year if he's healthy. Maybe RJ takes another step next year. But I think Leon and company are still focused on trying to get that guy. I think it'll either be Donovan Mitchell or it'll be Joel Embiid. Maybe it's both within the next 3 to 4 years. We'll see what happens. All right, that's it for Fan Fridays, episode 1, man. Stay tuned next week for episode 2, where we answer more questions from our loyal Franchise channel supporters. CB the Franchise, Alex Trataros. Al, we out of here, man. Great show.